Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're in the good mood to hear my storytelling. Okay, are you ready to be taken into a world full of colors and exciting story? Today, I am Margareth Parhusip, going to take you on a journey, through a tale that is not only entertaining but also full of meaning. So get your ears, heart, and your imagination to get ready, okay? Because this story will make you feel touched, laughed, and maybe even a little inspired. Let's begin the adventure. Go! I will tell you about the title of the story is Mirror Mirror, which is very familiar to one of the characters, namely Snow White. Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom, a king married a stunning woman named Clementina. But beneath her beauty, she hid ambitions and cruelty. She is very hungry of the power. Not long after the wedding, the king went off to war and never returned. Queen Clementina seized the throne and locked her stepdaughter, Snow White, inside the palace. The queen entered with her arrogant steps. Standing before her grand mirror, the queen demanded, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is fairest people of them all?" A deep, echoing voice replied, "You are fair, my queen, but Snow White is still fair." Heard that, the queen snapped in anger. "Snow White? That girl won't stand my place," said the queen angrily and sat on her throne with jealousy covering her eyes. On the other side, Snow White grew up in isolation, yet her heart remains kind, and her spirits is very strong. Meanwhile, the queen taxed people heavily, living in luxury while the kingdom suffered. On a beautiful cliff, Snow White, standing at her window, Snow White whispered with determination, "I can't stay looked up any longer. The people are suffering. I must help them," says the Snow. And finally, she escaped into the forest, where she met 7 clever dwarf bandits who fought for justice. Snow White greeted them kindly. "Hello, I'm Snow White. I want to help stop the queen is cruelty." The dwarf leader replied with courteous smile, "We are bandits, but we fight for what's right. You got the spirit, girl. Let's stand together," says the dwarf leader. And on the other side, the queen, desperate to keep her throne, told Prince Uncle that Snow White was dead, hoping to trick him into marrying her. In the shadow chambers, the queen hissed to her advisor, "Get rid of her. Tell the prince she is dead. The kingdom will be mine," said the queen. And then, in the morning, the prince apparently went to the forest to do his habit or his hobby. When the prince saw her, Snow White, in the forest, his eyes widened in the disbelief. You are alive? But they told me you are gone," said the prince. Snow White said with gambling, "I'm alive, and I won't stop fighting for my people," said the Snow White. The prince smiled with gallantry and full of admiration for Snow White. "Then I will be stand by your side," said the prince. Determined to end it all, the queen disguised herself and returned to the forest with a gleaming red apple. She seemed to be disgusted, for someone Snow White couldn't recognize. Speaking so sweetly, she offered the apples. "Dear child, would you like an apple? One bit, and you will feel stronger than ever." And of course, Snow White hesitated. "It looks perfect, but shouldn't I?" And then she took the one bit of the apple. Her eyes widened, and then she is collapsed. The queen looked in cruelty, and she disappeared on the shadows. "Ha ha 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 ha! Feel that, shameless kid," says the queen when she disappeared in the shadows. And the dwarf, who is looking for food, immediately found her lying cold and still. They brought her to the prince, who fell to his knees beside hers. With trembling hands, he took hers and whispered, "Snow White, you are the light in the darkest place. Please, come back to me." And just then, her finger twitched and her eyes opened slowly. "I heard you," said Snow White in weakly stealth. "I heard you, even I in the darkness," says the Snow White. And Snow White, revived by love and courage, leads the prince, the dwarf, and the people to the castle. Facing the queen in the grand hall, she declared, "Your time is over. The people deserve the justice and peace." The queen shouted furiously, "I am the fairest. I will never be replaced," shouted the queen from her castle. The prince held Snow White's hands and says, "You are ready whereby her, kind and braver, and then yours," said Prince when pointing to the queen. And then the mirror cracked. The queen magic is faded. Her rage came to end. The kingdom blossomed again. Flower bloomed, and the children laughed and hope returned. The people cheered. "Long life Queen Snow White," said the peoples. Snow White stood before them, her voice strong and kind. "This kingdom belongs to all of us. We will build with kindness and courage, and of course, love." The prince shook his head and said, "Your story will be remembered forever." And the end. So they lived not just happily ever after, but wisely and well. So that is the end of the story of Mirror Mirror. Hopefully, what is contained in it, we can do the good and leave the bad. I am Margareth Parhusip, and goodbye!